gung-ho to start screwing things to the dash, but I think I need to think about the order that I'm doing things. I really think it's more important to get all the gauges installed, because it seems like everything else, the switches, the ashtray, the glove box, all of that is in the lower section, which logically would get installed after the gauges, the things that are up higher, get installed. Probably the ductwork too. So I need to have the vents done prior to screwing this other stuff in. Unfortunately, it just looks so nice. I want it to go back in, have the dash look complete. So it's time to pull the gauges out and focus on them. I've got all of these wire harnesses working, so that part of the task is done. But unfortunately, I gotta put this stuff back and focus on the gauges for a while. So the other night I took this to the basement, cleaned it in the sink, brushed it. I tried to use some foaming, I don't see any more up there, I'll have to look, some cleaner, and it wouldn't come out of the can. It was too old. So anyway, I got it as clean as I could with the brush and the warm water, and then I went at it with some 320 grit to take care of any dings, any sort of peeling paint. This has all been wire brushed down in here. The factory painted this black plastic molded piece chrome and then masked off certain areas, and I need to do some good research. I'm pretty sure it was this face and also this inner diameter here, that face that surrounds that, and then that face up there. All of those ended up with exposed chrome look on them, and then everything else got painted a satin black. So that's my plan. Rust-Oleum makes a chrome paint. After I get this fully clean, I'll wipe it down with grease and wax remover, and then shoot in this area that chrome paint. Everything else is going to get black, so I don't need to worry about that. But actually, the first thing I'll be doing after I finish cleaning and wiping it down is shooting it with a plastic primer, something that allows the paint to adhere to plastic surface. And then it'll get the chrome, and then I will mask off those areas again once I verify. I need some really fine tape, although I guess I can just tape this whole area off and then just trim the masking tape around that diameter. Anyway, work to do. Work goes on this. Once the housing is done, then I can decide what I'm doing with the gauges. If I'm going to try to restore them, keep them black, use the white faced applique, which I'm not thrilled about, or what. We'll see. A few things going on here. One of the standoffs, that one back in there, had broke off down at the base, so I've got epoxy on it. Well, I had the epoxy out. I also put some epoxy. The screw had cracked and split open the hole, so the epoxy is hopefully going to hold those together to allow me to, this is where the clock mounts. Alright, I've been toying with changing these because of, I can't get that to be white anymore. And I can't get that to be white anymore. But I shouldn't really worry about it, I guess. My option, let's see, is to go to the only applique available, which is white. And I'm not a fan of that at all. Anyway, another option is I could scan these because I know they're the right size. I can invert the colors and then send it to a professional printer who can print it in white ink. And then the rest would be the black. And then that would be a whole applique that would go on here. The other option is to get white water slide decal paper and print everything but the letters, and everything that's supposed to be white would get printed black. And I think that would be too harsh. And these, I think, are water slide decals. I don't think these are supposed to cover everything. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to live with it like this. I have tried different cleaners, soap and water, this all-purpose foam cleaner. There was some talk of alcohol on a Q-tip, so I suppose I can try that too. The other thing is I have to go review my video of many, many years ago where I disassembled this so I can figure out how all of these pieces go back together. Because, oh yeah, I'll take you over and show you what the finished product on, no, it's not really finished, on the near finished product on the gauge housing turned out. So after sanding and cleaning, hitting it with plastic primer and then a couple of coats of the satin black, I did mask these inner rings because it actually looked like they were okay. I'm still going to hit these faces with a chrome felt tip marker. Yes, I know this is not the way the factory did it. The factory chrome plated this entire piece and then masked off what was to be left in chrome and then painted everything. But the chrome underneath was in no condition, as you saw in the previous clip, to be able to do this. So this is just my dealing with it, and without having to spend an arm and a leg on re-chroming or just buying a whole new panel. It's a paint pen with chrome paint in it, and it has a flat felt tip on it that'll allow me to only hit the upward facing places. Yeah, while I'm talking, I'm looking at that, but I think it's just going to be, this is what you're going to see. So I'm not going to worry about that. I've snapped in these three pieces here. I'm pretty sure that this tang has to go this side because when you go to fit the speedometer in, there's nothing to engage on the back, so that tang has to be outboard of the speedometer diameter. Also screwed the fuel gauge from the back side up to this housing. Next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and attach. I looked at my previous video, and this speedometer and the fuel gauge were the last two things that I took off of this, minus the three shields or whatever you want to call them. So that's what I will do, is now attach this. It uses 3 screws into threaded holes in the back through rubber grommets there, and then we'll refer back to my video and see what's next. The screws that hold the speedometer in place they're kind of shoulder looking, which makes sense. They fit snugly into the center of the grommet as opposed to some of these here, which are too small to fit snugly to locate the speedometer. So one is in, second one's going in. So, of course, something got forgotten. I remember in the video something, it looked like it fell out, but that is the brake light, the one that tells you that your parking brake is on. And then so it actually has the word brake imprinted. You really can't see unless the light is through there. It's a dark red plastic with a white imprint on the back side. So there, two others have to go in here, and I've got this one and this one. So now I'm curious why this one is that shape. Makes it sense that it would go there. All right, a little more research. So I found the two red lenses there and there that fit into those locations, and notice that the yellow, or the amber one here, fits into this window of this, which mounts into here with that over top of it, and then it gets held in with this long screw into that threaded hole. So put that together now. So there are little tangs on this plate and this plate, and they have to engage with the slots in this cover plate. So that holds everything together. It's kind of weird that that's not centered, but I guess it is where it is. So the next thing to do is to clean the lens, because I think that goes on, and then the two little dots, and I think I verified that green is on the bottom, and whatever the other color is, I've got replacement dots, red and green. So green is on the top, that's for the blinker indicator, and then red is on the bottom, that is the indicator that the brights are on. Let's clean this lens first. All right, so the lens is on. Underneath is the plate, kind of the frame, and once those are in, then this will come down and the edges get swaged over. All right, well, no screws there, and this is now installed. I still have to highlight these rims with the silver chrome paint that's on its way, and we need to clean up and install the HVAC unit here, and then this whole thing will be ready to go into the dash. So I've convinced myself that this plate needs to come off so that I can do an easier job of cleaning it and repainting it and buffing all of the stainless and chrome parts behind it. So in order to do that, there were 4 posts, 2 on each side, held on by little E-clips. I tried to get the E-clip off and broke one of the posts, so then I just cut the E-clip and have that plate loose, but it will not fit over top of the handles for those levers, so I'm going to take the levers off, and we'll see where we go from there. So I was able to just remove this applique, it's contact adhesive, onto a clear plastic panel here. That plastic panel is wide enough through here to get that one, but not that one. So to continue on, I'm going to remove this switch I've got the clip off of this part here, so I believe when I remove it from here, I should be able to extract this plate, at least enough to clean it. I don't necessarily have to get this handle off, just would like to have it out enough that I can clean the back side, and then I'll put it back on. I'll very carefully mask off and then refinish that applique, and then reattach it to the face again. So I've masked this cover sheet to this board, and I will shoot it in the satin black. I've cleaned it also with the final white before I put the tape on. And here's the finished product of the gauge set. Just looking through here. For some reason I think I've got those flipped though, the green and the red. Oh well. It kind of turned out nice. Easy enough. What, 4 screws, and we'll need to remember to do that before I go any farther. Will always be one thing.